Welcome back, grade 10s. Now let's look at our application questions. Without wasting your time, let us just go to it. The first question says, complete the following sentence by using the word or words in the list below. We have primary, we have informal, private, formal, public, as well as secondary. So the first question says, examples of businesses in the sector include Transnet. So which one would be the correct answer for this sentence? So Transnet is part of the public. Example of businesses in the public sector because it is owned by the government. Number B says, Surprise Hotel is an example of the business found in the sector. So which one is this one? Surprise Hotel. So here's a hotel. It belongs to Surprise. So it's found in it's the formal sector. So the correct answer here would be formal. Okay, then we move on to the next question. Businesses in the sector do not pay tax on the profits of the business. So which sector did we say does not pay tax? And it doesn't pay tax because it's not registered. So it's the informal sector. So the correct answer here would be informal. Right, let us move on to our second application question. So there's a mistake there. It has to be number 2. Discuss the purpose of the public sector. To provide public goods and services such as water and electricity to meet the needs of its people. So basically, the aim or the purpose of the public sector is to ensure that they provide public with the goods and services that meets the needs of its people. So obviously, one of our needs that we have according to the Constitution is to ensure that we have clean running water. So that's the main aim of the government through the public sector, to ensure that it provides us with water and electricity at an affordable and reasonable price. Because if it was offered by the private sector, surely it was going to be expensive. So the government deals with the needs of the people with the businesses that is controlled by the government, through the businesses rather, that are controlled by the government. Another aim is to improve the general standard of living of all its citizens. So another aim of the public sector is to ensure that the general standard of all the citizens is improved. Through what? The government is the biggest employer that we have. So he employs more people than private sectors. Why is it like that? So that the general standard of people is being improved, to make sure that if everybody is taken, or if most of its citizens is taken care of, then probably the poverty will be alleviated. Provide various kinds of job opportunities. So another purpose of the public sector is to ensure that different kinds of job opportunities are being provided to the people. Why is that? Because the government know very well that if people are employed, then their general standard of living is going to be improved. And yes, they are employed, but also they contribute to the economy of the country, which makes the living better for each and every person. Hence, they provide different job opportunities for different people. Okay, now let's move on to our third practice question, which says, advise businesses on the differences between formal sector and informal sector. Under formal sector, employees work specific hours, and under informal sector, employees work long hours. So since you know grade 10s that formal sector, these are businesses which are registered. They are registered with the CIPC, they are registered with South African Revenue Services, so they pay tax and they are registered rather, they are legally operating. So these businesses are bounded by legislation that is put on businesses that businesses have to comply with. So employees work specific hours which are stipulated under the Basic Conditions of Employment Act. That's why you find employees under the formal sector working specific hours. On the other hand, on the informal sector, they are working long hours because businesses under the informal sector, they are not registered. So there is no legislation that governs those businesses. So they do as they please. They exploit workers because businesses are not registered. Hence, they are working long hours, employees found under that sector. Then income is regular, weekly, or monthly earnings under the formal sector, while under the informal sector, income earned is irregular and inconsistent. So under the formal sector, like I've said, that businesses under this sector, which is the formal sector, are bound by legislation. So there's a contract that is being signed by the employer and employee in terms of agreeing on the specific payment negotiations, whereby the employee will be paid monthly or the employee will be paid weekly. And surely employees get the money at the stipulated date that is written in the contract. While on the other hand, under the informal sector, these businesses, they can have verbal contractual agreements when they are employing you. So the payments will not be consistent. You may find that sometimes you get paid at an earlier date, sometimes you get paid at a later date, and even the money that you're getting paid is not fixed. Why? Because these businesses are not registered, so it's not easier for employees to go and complain anyway, rather than other than in the formal sector, whereby they know the correct channels where to complain, and hence the employers under the formal sector do not exploit employees. Then businesses pay tax to SARS on turnover and profits made under the formal sector. So whatever income that we are going to make actually as a business, be it on a yearly basis, that revenue is taxed. The profits that we make as a business are taxed through SARS because we have registered our business through South African Revenue Services. On the other hand, on the informal sector, businesses do not pay tax on the profits of the business. So since this business is not registered with the South African Revenue Services, there's no tax that is being paid by businesses that fall under the informal sector. So whatever profit that they make, these businesses solely belongs to the owner and does not belong to anyone else. Let us just go for a quick ad break and we will be back. See you shortly.